What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. So this is going to be a great Sunday, Sunday weekend before, Thanksgiving. 6 more weeks to the end of the year. It's time to get it. I actually got a couple of things I want to talk about today. What we're going to do is I'm going to do this with two different videos. So, but one of them, actually both of them, one's going to be more social, political, one's going to be more political, social. So, first thing, a couple of things first. So, we're at 1286. So, that's definitely great. Appreciate everybody. Also, they've added a community tag to my YouTube channel. So, if you all, I'm going to create a domain name to go straight to it. But if you go to the community option, when you go into my name, you should be seeing this on your timeline, but sometimes it's not there. But if you go to the community tab, when you click on my channel, it'll have, different things that I'm sharing. So I like to share posts. I'm going to share maybe like woman of the day. So I share different types of women, so y'all get an idea of what I'm attracted to, whether dark skin, light skin, whatever, biracial, whatever. We may even do a little non-black as well, but that's kind of a fun aside. You'll see like different comedy channels that I'm going to share, as far as different YouTube channels that I'm going to share, and they're all going to be fire. That's like the most important thing would be the YouTube channel, different videos that's going to allow me to share that I think you all need to see. So I'm definitely excited about that. I want to announce that because that's going to be a good precursor to me doing a Facebook group. So with that being said, I want to jump right into the topic because I don't want to make this too long. So first of all, this first video is gonna be Ocasio-Cortez. This is the young woman that's like this early. I think she's 29 years old. That won in an election. She's kind of been one of the faces of this kind of neoliberal, neo-feminist movement, take back politics movement against Trump. So she's been getting a lot of push within the party, even though she just got elected and she's not even. I don't even think she's in there. I don't know, or whatever. Don't get me correct me on her thing. You know who I'm talking about. If you pull her up, you'll see it when you see it, so you all can look her up yourselves. I'm gonna read an article though. It's very interesting. This article is Ocasio-Cortez backs campaign to primary fellow Democrats. So if those of you all that don't know, when I read these articles out, I may do a pause and give my commentary on it. I want to try to go through it to give my overall commentary on it, so I'll probably pause it no more than 3 times. So let's go. This is written by Alex Thompson. This came out yesterday, November 17th. And this is on Politico.com. I like Politico.com. It gives me a lot of information as far as things to dig a little deeper on. And she is an incoming congresswoman, so I wasn't wrong about that. So, the incoming congresswoman endorses an effort by the group Justice Democrats to make the House Democratic Caucus more liberal and diverse by taking on incumbents. I'm going to pause that right now. I'm telling you right now, that's a front. That's code for put more Hispanics in and then put more women in. Let's just keep that real. So, more Hispanics, more female. And more female are probably biracial. There's more that's going to go in with her. So, recollect, and she's not even in here yet. Recollect Alexandera Ocasio-Cortez on Saturday threw her raid behind a new national campaign to mount primaries against incumbent Democrats deemed to be ideologically and demographically out of step with their districts. The incoming star congresswoman, keep in mind star, like I said, she's being pushed, from New York, again put the Democratic establishment on notice that she and activist groups on the left aren't content with the Democratic-controlled House. They are determined to move the party to the left. Pause. Is this not what the fuck I said with the Tea Party? I'll talk about that more at the end of the article. Quote, long story short, I need you to run for office, Ocasio said Saturday on a video conference call hosted by Justice Democrats as the group launched a campaign dubbed Our Time. Justice Democrats supported Ocasio-Cortez's primary against powerful Rep. Joe Crowley, Democrat, New York. All Americans know money in politics is a huge problem, but unfortunately the way that we fix it is by demanding that our incumbents give it up or by running fierce campaigns ourselves, Cortez added. That's really what we need to do to save this country. That's just what it is. End quote. The incoming Congresswoman's chief of staff, Saket Chakrabarti, a co-founder of Justice Democrats, was blunter. We need new leaders, period. He said it on the call. We got to primary folks. The group said they want Democratic members of Congress to be representative of their district or of their diverse communities and support liberal policies like Medicare for all, abolish the Immigration and Customs Enforcement departments, implementing a Green New Deal, and rejecting corporate PAC donations on the campaign trail. Ocasio-Cortez talked about forming a corporate-free caucus as a means to push for reform. That type of group, if it forms, could turn out to be the left's counterpart to the Freedom Caucus, which is pushed by Republican leadership to by the right. Quote, I don't think people who are taking money from oil and gas companies should be drafting climate legislation, Cortez said on the call. As for which Democrats, end quote, as for which Democrats they will target, the grassroots organizations welcome its members to submit nominations of candidates and potential districts to target in 2020. Justice Democrats said it will prioritize women and diversity in their recruitment, end quote. I have not read this fucking article. I'm going to tell you, I like to read these articles, and I curse, so get over it. I like to read these articles fresh, so you understand what I'm thinking. Did I not say at the beginning of this article, this is a front for women and Hispanics in here. So in the article, we already got the woman part. And the diversity part is anybody that agrees with them in districts that they can't get a Hispanic in there, and a Hispanic for anybody that don't. Obviously, white women and Hispanics. Pretty much. So I just said that. So anyway, end quote. All 4 incoming House members who were backed by the Justice Department are women of color. Ayanna Presley. Okay, so Rashida Tlaib and Ocasio-Cortez. So let me see. I don't even really want to start searching for you. So, black woman, you already know she's a feminist. I can tell you right now she's a feminist. So, I mean, like I said, you got to get black women in there in areas that you just don't have the numbers. That's the Somali woman, Ilhan Omar, which she's just going to be, as long as you do what you need to do for Somalis, I'm good. And the Hispanic, no, yeah, I mean, for real. Yeah, like these are, yeah, that makes sense. Like I said, women, like if you're a strong progressive leader in your community committed to getting money out of politics, I want you to join me in Congress. I want you to run, because it's on Twitter. The 29-year-old Ocasio-Cortez, Justice and Justice Democrats want her victory over Crowley to be the beginning of a movement rather than just a one-off upset. We recruited and supported Ocasio-Cortez all the way to historic victory, and now we're going to repeat the playbook. Justice Democrats Executive Director Alexandera Rojas said in a statement. Tlaib, a fellow Democratic socialist, keep in mind, I want y'all to understand something very clear. That is the Somali woman that is culturally conservative. So make no mistake. See, this is why you all got to understand your terms and stop saying liberal and socialist. See, she's culturally conservative. So what that's saying is she's for socialism coming into her community as far as Somalis. Fuck everybody else. So make no mistake about that. Because this is a woman that benefits from a lot of these immigrant subsidies. So keep in mind how that all comes together. And stop getting emotional about these terms. Like so anyway, I'll come back to that. Her own competitive, Tlaib, a fellow Democratic socialist who support Justice Democrats, and her own competitive primary for John Collier's OC through her support behind campaign as well. Remember, this is the black dude. Help uplift women like us. Remember, she said women. Like, this is what I'm telling you. Women like us, all levels of government, we still need more you to run with us. So get your squad together. We are waiting for you, Tlaib said. This is what she said. Now, she comes from a patriarchal environment in Somali. Keep in mind, this is what I'm telling you. You can't even consider her black. And John Conyers, and for black people to elect her, this tells you what the women are on in that area. This is what I'm telling you. So when people say that I'm crazy about saying black men have a black male first agenda, and you might have to align yourself with Republicans, I don't see much difference from this. I ain't gonna say that because people say I'm being hyperbolic. Anyway, we're almost finished. The grassroots groups expects to focus more on safe Democratic seats, as Crowley was, than on swing districts, largely centered in the suburbs that party won en route to the House majority. That's a slight shift in strategy after all the groups candidates such as Kara Eastman in Nebraska came up short in Republican-held congressional districts in 2018, replacing safe Democratic incumbents with more progressive and diverse leaders. The thinking goes could move to Overton window of what is and is not acceptable in the Democratic Party. There's lots of blue districts in this country where communities want to support a new generation of diverse working class leaders. Like I said, code word is women and Hispanics. And like they're trying to take, who fight tirelessly for their voters and build a movement around big solutions to our country's biggest problems, said Rojas. There are parallels between this effort and the Tea Party movement during Barack Obama's presidency, when Congress men in solid Republican seats like former Majority Leader Eric Cantor faced primary challenges and loss. Still, it is unusual for freshman Democrats to throw their support behind an organization that's threatening to wage primaries against their new colleagues, and it's unclear whether it could trigger a backlash from incumbent lawmakers who want to take advantage of their newfound majority to get things done rather than sweating a primary challenge. But Cortez has already made it clear she's looking to break the mold. During her first week in Washington, she joined a protesting Democratic leader, Nancy Pelosi's office, supporting calls for a new Green Deal. It wasn't a very polite move to do, Chakrabarti said. Cortez said at the sit-in that she was not there to protest Pelosi because she's not dumb, but to support activists and their agenda. Should Leader Pelosi become the next speaker, we need to tell her that we've got her back in showing and pursuing the most progressive energy agenda that country has ever seen. I'm not against the energy shit. This is about unity. This is about solidarity. Like I said, again, the title is Ocasio-Cortez back campaign of primary fellow Democrats by Alex Thompson. This was November 17th, 2018. So let's see where we are time-wise. Okay, we're pretty good with the time, so I can keep this 20 minutes. All right, so yeah, that is my washing machine. So pretty much, these are what we know. She's a socialist. We already know that. So most black men are not socialists. Most black people are not socialists. So she's a socialist. She is a matriarch. And here's the thing. Women like this, you got to keep in mind. Because, again, matriarchy in Africa is different than what we're talking about in America, which is different than what she's talking about as a Hispanic. Because Hispanic women are not fully on that because they do come from a machismo patriarchal community. So keep in mind, it's not quite the same. And I would love to get like SBI Latino on stuff like this. But here's the reality situation. You've got this woman, she took New York woman, and you got black women getting behind this woman. Even though colorism, right? They want to talk about colorism, which is pretty much code for, controlling the black male penis. But the reality is, she's socialist. She's for women, women of color. Because these are the code words. None of that is for black men. None of that is really for black people. Because she's going to take the same playbook the white women did, and they're going to start screwing her over. That Somali woman doesn't care because she's representing her unique group. So she doesn't care about that. So the reality of the situation is, this is what happens. People would say, oh, well, Alan, you talked about don't vote if you don't know what you're voting for. Here's the thing. A lot of black men voted for her. You're not going to tell me that didn't happen. Because a lot of black men voted for the Democratic Party. I promise you, if I go in her district and I start breaking down the demographics, the majority of black men voted for her. And they didn't know what the fuck they were voting for. So the question is, again, is it, but now you got to understand that's kind of a Democratic seat. So that's a little bit different. But the point is, you voted for her. So which is worse, voting for somebody like that? Because she ain't going to say nothing for you. She's already on, and look, she ain't going after Nancy Pelosi because Nancy Pelosi is her. That's the power base. This is what y'all don't understand. So when people want to talk, and the thing is, I'm not saying to not get involved, because that's what gets confused. People confuse not voting with not being involved. Or I'm just saying you have to be smart. Don't go out there and start firing bullets in the heat of the night. And then when you hit something you're not supposed to hit, you want to act mad. No, it's better for you to point your target, understand what you're doing. Another thing I wanted to say, because this is actually the biggest point, is remember what I said. I told you all that the most effective way to change situations is through primaries. She's already gunning for that. She's already gunning for it. See, this is a woman that even if this woman gets knocked out of office, her name is going to be strong enough out there where she's going to be able to affect stuff. Because she's already teeing up to where she can represent an organization, a nonprofit that can move money through, even if she's not in office anymore. So she can do these 2 years and then get herself some credibility, or do 2 and 4 years, and she's relatively young and she'll always have that credibility, whether she gets beaten or not. Another thing you got to understand, she says she's campaigning for open borders. Who does that help? Who the fuck does abolishing the enforcement thing help? That does not help black people. That helps her get more Hispanics in here. So remember that. She ain't no fool. Get past oh, she's a liberal, she's a socialist, and actually go line by line to what the issues are. Because if you just make it all esoteric, that, oh, she's a liberal, she's a socialist, she's this, she's that, you really don't understand what really is going on and what you need to do to deal with it. What you're doing is you're just calling somebody a name, and you're thinking that means something. Your opinion. Like, it kills me. But like I said, the main point I want you all to get out of this video is the primary piece. I told you, she knows. Primarying other Democrats. You see, black people don't never talk about that. Black people don't never think about that. Because we don't want to rock the boat. A lot of it is we're afraid. See, we want to talk about transitioning, but we don't really want to talk about taking control of what we have. Now, people will say, oh, well, she's a liberal, she's a socialist, she couldn't go to Republicans. I'm not saying she should, but at the same time, black people are not really active in the Democratic Party like that, except for voting for who we told to vote for. She has already stated, I want to submit candidates to the party. That is exactly what black men should be doing, in particular, black people in general. And if you don't represent our interests, then you're not going to get our vote. And the thing about it is, what you can do on social, you can do a lot of, man, you've had whole entertainment movies fall to the ground because of bad social media campaigns. You think that can't work with politicians? You think you can't buy traffic in people's local districts and start running campaigns and let that stuff go viral? There's a lot of things you can do that doesn't cost that much money to raise if you really know how to do it. But the problem is a lot of people don't really want to do that because they're not being, they think they're not being directly affected. I'll say that and whatnot. So anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, but I just wanted to read that off because that's a perfect example of what that activism is. She is willing to sacrifice the majority that the Democrats have just to pretty much get the right people in there. Because make no mistake, and when you come to 2020, when you vote, and if you vote in 2020 and you vote for the Democratic Party, and I'm a Democrat. So keep that. That's what you're voting for. Now my Democratic representative ain't on that, and I'm in the South, so it's a different calculation. But what I'm saying is, that's what you're voting for. Remember that. That's what you're dealing with. And the thing is, this is why you have to understand the difference between being a voter base and a donor base. Because you may not be able to vote her out, but you could definitely send money to dudes that will run against her. But this is the game, and this is, you got to get your economics in order. You just do, as a group. So I just wanted to point that out, because a lot of times people will say the Republican Party is racist. And my thing is, there is nothing in what that article said that has anything to do with you. Anyway, let me know what you think about this video. Do you want more videos like this where I break down posts and stuff? And this is Edward signing off. Peace.